Okay, next question is from Julie. And she was asking, what about the layers palette buttons? And I think that's probably going to end up as a blog post because there are quite a few things. So let me open a file so we can actually see this, I think. So this file, I'll just remove that grid. Okay, so I have a project that has a lot of layers. So I'm just going to open here. We see more. So we have some icons on top and we have some icons at the bottom. They all mean something and they can be very useful. You might use more or fewer. It's up to you. So the first one is to collapse the layers, and the second one is to expand the layers. So that's mostly if you have groups. So let's say that I expand all. You can see here the vector had a group, just a small group. And I can then also close all the groups. This can be very useful if you have lots of groups, lots of vectors. Masked groups also it just makes a lot of layers, so you can expand if you want to look for something in particular, or you can collapse them all to go a little faster. This one is a search bar. And it's going to be mostly useful when you are renaming your layers as you add them. So for example, if I was to call this one ring or red ring, I can just go and search for it. I tend to not use it simply because I'm a little lazy and I don't rename my layers very much. I tend to rely on what I see. But sometimes you might want to call your layer, what it is for, especially if you are tweaking with some adjustment layers and you want to say, oh, this is for the face, or that for the hand, or that is for the foot. And you can search that way. So that's why you have that. Okay. The fourth one is the edit selection, and I've been using that very often. So when I have a selection, if I edit the selection, the selected part becomes red. And if I use in my materials palette, I can brush in black, because if you, where is it here? It acts like a mask. So whatever is going to be black is going to be blocked, and whatever is white is going to be acting like a window. So I can brush that. This is my favorite way to extract elements because I find it's more control than using a selection tool. And when you're done with drawing or painting or making the selection, you click again to toggle it, and now you have your selection with those marching ants all around. Well, let's deselect that. This one is to show or hide the layer effects. So let's see, I don't know if I have any. Good. Layer effects. It's mostly when you have a style. So this one is the style. So for example, if I add this one, which is, okay, the stitching, let's go with something a little bit more obvious. Let's see that star. I can have a layer style and I can add a bevel. I could add, let's say, an outer glow. My stars at the bottom. Let's go look. Okay, so this is what it would look like. And I apply and I get this. This is a layer style. What's interesting is that it's non-destructive. So if I choose not to change the color of my glow, I can do that. But here is, it's going to make it appear or disappear. So sometimes you might want to just have a look and, oh, do I want it? Do I not want it? Do I want to remove it or change it? So this is what it is. Then here you have the linking, which is if you select 2 or 3 or 4 layers, holding the control key, you can do that. And you link them. That means that if you are to use the move tool, all those 4 layers are going to move together, which is really useful. For example, all those letters here, with the stitching, I would not want to move one without the others. One thing to be aware of is that the linking will work if you are using the move tool, but if you are using the pick tool will not respect the linking. So things that are linked, for example, an element and its shadow, there are by default going to be linked. You can use the pick tool to move the shadow without moving the object or vice versa. So if you want to keep them well aligned together, you have to move with the move tool so you can respect the link. We have here the lock and unlock transparency. So we've seen that before. As an example, if I had something fuzzy and I want to change the color, that might not work here because it's actually a layer style. But if I have an element, let's say that I have this selection, I'm going to feather that a lot and I fill it in black. Okay, so now if I wanted to change the color from black to red, and if I am to use the magic wand, it really won't work very well because it's going to be an all or nothing. That's what the magic wand does, all or nothing. So it's either it's going to be red or it's not. But if I want to keep the transparency and the blurriness, I would here lock the transparency, use my flood fill, and click on it, and I unlock the transparency. So this can be really useful when you want to change colors, or especially if you want to do blending. You want to change the color for a ribbon. You're not going to get pixelated edges using this. So those are the tools on top. Of course, if you want, you can also customize and add more. For example, in my PaintShop 9, I already had the repeat command because I often do repeat, which is Control Y. And I think last week we customized. There's quite a few things that you can put in here using the customize command, although not everything makes sense there. And at the bottom, what we have here, these are the new layers. These are the adjustment layers. These are the mask layers. Here's a group. So when you have only one layer, it won't work. But if I go here, I can create a group. And my active layer is going to be part of that new group. And of course, I have my delete. And we have also there's another one that is, do I have a mask here? No, I don't. Let me open another file. Do I have one here? I thought I did. Yeah. Okay, notice that now I have here a mask group and I have another uh, icon that's added. So I can link or unlink the group. I really want to have them linked, but in case I could unlink everything. And I can also, if I activate the mask layer, you can see how I can highlight the mask area. So it will give me an idea where it is. And I can also invert that mask area. So the black will become white, the white becomes black. And of course, the effect is going to be different. So again, it depends on what you are working on. So those two here and this one, they will only appear if there is something to apply to. Otherwise, they're not there. And notice also if you have the group here, some icons are going to be inactive because you can't use them. But that's quite a few elements that you have available for you in the layers palette. And also you have the blend mode here and the opacity that is on top for each of those layers. Hey there! I hope you found this information useful. If you're curious to dive deeper and explore more about PaintShop Pro, we've got a wealth of resources waiting for you in our membership area. There, you'll find in-depth classes, workshops, Q&A sessions, and much more to help you enhance your PaintShop Pro and digital scrapbooking skills. Feel free to check it out. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching and see you in the campus.